welcome back to the tea time. This is number 3, I think, of our traditional now meeting at 4 o'clock UK time on a Thursday. What is big news today? Well, first of all, there's the biscuit challenge as we introduce new specialties every week. This week we have the Oro Choc, which is I guess it's a French biscuit after all, but we have our own version of it, and it's pretty tasty, and it's very fat as well because there's a chunky bit of chocolate on top. My tea is absolutely warm. Don't worry, Ian, about it. It's a camping mug, so it will keep it warm for quite a while. Well, of course, this week, big news about the US, so we won't have anything that tops that. Last week it was Star Wars. This week it's Biden. In other news, as you may know, Joe Exotic has not been pardoned by Trump, so he's still in jail for a while. Matt Damon is selling his house in LA, about $20 million. If you're interested, just make an offer there. But for important things, stuff that we have to cover today. Well, of course, today is release day for Combat Mission Black Sea. This is the second combat mission game we release on Matrix and Slitherine and on Steam as well. Combat Mission is going to be covered later on in the stream. We'll have Ian with us for a little bit of a chat about how Combat Mission is used in the pro environment, in a professional environment. But before we get to that, we have a little bit of news on Fantasy General 2, right? As you know, Fantasy General has been released just over a year and a half ago. It's been very successful. We are very proud of how the game came along over time. We had initially 3 versions of the game. There was the Hero Edition and the General Edition. The General Edition of the game included the first 2 DLCs. So we released the first 2 DLCs, and we now announce the 3rd DLC. So it's the first DLC that is outside of the initially launched General Edition. The game is has been interestingly growing over time. It's a game that captured the imagination of a lot of new players along the way. And it's interesting to see that, just fun fact, I've just collected some information here. In average, the game's been played 50 hours by everyone who's purchased the game. So it's a lot of time to dedicate to a game in average. Also, 60% of the players own both DLCs already released. So it's a lot of dedication. So there's a big core community of players out there who really like it, really love Fantasy General. So this is on PC one of the best-selling games we've had in recent times, and we're very proud of the fact that we sort of managed to capture the feel of the original Fantasy General, but really, the guys at Owned by Gravity managed to sort of bring it to a modern, not only a modern gameplay, but also, visually, make it varied, make it look like, every time there's something new, it just feels and plays at something new. So that's very, very, very important to us. The third DLC is called Evolution. It will be releasing in a non-too-distant future. We have a release date for end of February. And it's the biggest DLC we have released so far. Look at this awesome piece of art. It is really, really cool. We all love it. The DLC introduces a new race, a new faction. These are the Lizard Folks. It's an amphibious race. It has very specific characteristics, and it really adds a whole new layer of gameplay to the product. The new faction is, of course, very familiar and comfortable playing in the water. So the sea, there's a whole new level of sea warfare you'll be able to play, to experience. The whole faction, introduces plenty of new units. There are, it will be playable on both the skirmish and onslaught modes, but there is also a story campaign, which includes a total of 20 missions. Now, as you know, Fantasy General uses a branching campaign, a branching set of missions in a campaign. So you won't be playing all the 20 missions unless you actually make different choices during the campaign and play it again. But as a whole, you'll be able to play over 20 missions. We have a new playable hero as well. A new tech tree for improving your units. It really adds a lot, because what we do with Fantasy General is that we kind of have the guys at development at Owned by Gravity have this freedom of of introducing a lot of new gameplay as we go, because of the setting itself. So there's a lot of freedom there, and there's a lot of creativity to be put into place. But the core of it is, how can we improve gameplay? How can we make it so that experienced Fantasy General players will go there and experience something completely new? And this is, I think, what is a great achievement in Evolution. It's a really a big new layer in gameplay. It adds a lot, and also it's a really chunky DLC. So it adds many hours of extra gameplay, which is absolutely great for a game that actually needs that. It's not like a history-based game where you actually need to you kind of follow a canvas in some ways. You expect that people expect, World War II game. You expect people want an Eastern Front setting, a Western Front setting, and so on. Here, it's easier and harder at the same time to come up with new different setting and gameplay mechanics. And I think Evolution will bring it brings the game to a whole different level. So very, very proud about it. Very interesting to see how this will develop. The game will release end of February in all formats. So the game, as you know, is available on PC and PS4 and Xbox One. And so you'll be having the new DLC for all these formats. And you can see it. It's looking great, and we are looking to push this out with a lot of a lot of pride, and hopefully you'll all like it a lot, like we do. A little bit of an extra thing. I think this is what you're seeing on screen now. The DLC also introduces a new map theme, which is this set of islands connected in archipelago setting, which you can see adds a lot of gameplay changes. If you know what Fantasy General is like in in the previous iterations. So there's quite a lot of stuff going on. You guys just have to get the game when it's out. We're very proud of what we've achieved with this one so far. So congratulations as well to Owned by Gravity for bringing this to life. It's really, really looking great. As I said, this is a Combat Mission Day as well. We are releasing Black Sea on Steam and on our store. Black Sea is the sort of the second, or it's like the third step into our relationship with Battlefront. As you know, Battlefront, we started working with Battlefront on the professional side of things, and that was, you know, sort of an experiment, right? You know, we didn't know each other. We were like, trying to understand how we worked. The second step into that relationship was the release of Shock Force 2 before Christmas. And I guess it opened up new opportunities for Battlefront, as in, new audiences, new people playing the game, new opportunities for communicating and having, more YouTubers and more coverage for the product itself. So this is sort of the third step, right? Embracing a wider part of their catalog. And we'll have more in the future as well, because the Battlefront catalog is pretty wide.